It's win or go home for the Lakers tonight. LeBron James has done his part, scoring 23 a game against OKC as he looks to avoid his fourth career playoff sweep, which Austin Reeves will show tonight. The Lakers game 2, who scored 31, or Austin from games 1 and 3, who's averaging just 10. And Rui Hachimura led the Lakers with 21 in game 3, shot over 50% from 3 in 12 straight games. Lakers Thunder game 4 coming up in 1 hour. Hello and welcome to Access Sportsnet Lakers, brought to you by your Mercury Insurance. Chris McGee, James Worthy, Robert Roy. We're here for Mike Drew down a little bit. Game 4, closeout opportunity for the Thunder. Fitting that the three of us are here together to try to get this back on track, Rob.
Good to see you. Right? Good to see you. Hope it ain't the last time I see you.
I know. I'd miss you.
I miss you more.
Let's keep this going.
Yes, sir.
Loving that Carolina blue. I love that, man.
Okay, yeah, I had to wear it for some good luck.
I love you, man.
I love you more.
The Thunder have the Lakers on the brink of elimination. OKC up 3-0, beating the Lakers by 19.7 points on average, the worst point differential for a playoff series in franchise history. To add insult to injury, the Lakers led the half in games 2 and 3, but ended up losing by a combined 40-plus points, the first team in NBA history to do that. No NBA team has ever come back from an 0-3 hole. 0-162 in NBA history, with the Lakers at 0-10. So the Lakers have played some good basketball, fellas, but the Thunder have been able to kind of dominate the series, especially in the second half. They wear you down. They come at you in waves. How do you combat that here in Game 4, big game, and Rob, and break through?
You know, I can remember being down, 0-3 to the Pistons. Magic was out. Kareem was, close to being retired. And Coop was gone. I wanted to win a game so bad. I had my career high against Detroit. I had scored 40, and I just wanted one more game. I didn't care about going back to Detroit. So, I don't know what these guys' mentality is, but I just want to scratch and fight. And I also want to think about how well you played. I'm not thinking about coming back from a 0-3. I'm thinking about winning the game. Then you think about what you did there in Oklahoma, how, you were close, you had the game, tight. You just got to stop those waves. You got to turn the ball over. Everything we say every broadcast. But I don't know what this group's thinking about. But I just wanted to win the game so bad, just to say we won one against Detroit that year. Yeah, Rob's never been in that situation before.
I've been swept before. I've been the last time I was swept was in a Laker uniform. Got swept by Utah Jazz, and next year we got rid of everybody. And we won a championship.
Oh, that's right.
But the thing about it is, when you are down like this, sometimes you think about being down, and you have that pride where you says, nobody wants to be swept. You just said LeBron's been swept a few times. And now it's about not coming out being scared and playing afraid. It's to come out and playing focus. That's what it's all about. You have to play focus. Everybody says, well, why didn't you play focus in the first game? Yeah, you was focused, but you got to be extremely focused. You got to be so focused you can see in a pin eye. And then you got to make sure you do everything the right way. Because sometimes you come out, you play too frantic, and then that wears you out. So when the second half comes, you're really tired, and you get the results we've been getting. So it's going to have to be about pace, about efficiency, and about taking great shots and moving it one more time, and having great body language. That's one of the things that I always notice when your big dogs start having body language. It's a trickle-down effect. Now, that affects the guys on the bench. That affects the coaching staff. So you got to stay upbeat. You might be down 15-12, and hopefully you're not. But you got to stay upbeat. Your body language has to stay positive, because positive attitude, positive results.
All right, as we mentioned, the Lakers actually had the lead at halftime in games 2 and 3. But in both games, OKC stormed out in the third quarter to take control. As you can see, the Lakers are yet to win a third quarter this series. The Thunder outscoring LA by over 10 points a game. And from the Lakers side, you can ask what has gone wrong. And really, James, it starts with what you just said, the turnovers. Just in the last 2 games, not even counting game 1, just 2 and 3, they've had 14 third quarter turnovers.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Against the best team in the league and probably the best defensive team, they force turnovers. They have a reputation, and the referees, allow them to play you physical. And when you turn it over, Gator, they usually take advantage of it. You concede a lot of points off turnovers. And also, when you turn the ball over like that, we talked about this the other night, you know, those, like you turn the ball over 14, 15, 18 times, those are also shots that, you know, Luke Kennard doesn't get. Those are shots that Rui doesn't get. Those are shots that somebody's not getting on the other end. And it just demoralizes your defense, especially if you give up turnover's one thing, then you give up offensive rebound. That's 14 more seconds of defense you got to play. And so those are the things those two things right there, they could just, you know, close up those two things. Turnovers and not giving up offensive rebounds, that gives them a better chance.
To me, when I watched them come out, you think about last game, you come out third quarter, there's the very first play you have a defensive breakdown. They get an easy bucket. Then you turn it over. Next thing you know, you done got punched in the mouth. You like looking at what happened. And you can't have that. When you come out in the second half, you have to be even more focused in the first half. And it seems like the Lakers like, man, we got them, man. We got that lead. They just do the same thing. No. You got to do more than what you did in the first half. Because this team right here, they going to play about 13 guys. And this is the only team in the league where they can play 13 guys. And everybody on this bench is just as good as most starters. And for me, you got to be really, really focused. And you have to come out and pay attention to details. And sometimes when you play a team like this, you know, we had a thing called four pass with Phil. We'll move the ball 4 times to see what the defense make a move. And not doing that one-on-one stuff now, because OKC is the #1 defensive team in the league. And the reason they are is because they all play with their hands. You know, you see some of our players, you get the guys with their hands in their pocket. Every time you watch OKC tonight, they're like this in the defensive position.
Grabbing, physical.
Yeah, and the passing lanes are cloggy. And so that's what you got to do as a Lakers. So you got to make sure you be in the lane, defensive stands, and make sure everything runs right.
It's 10 championships on this desk right here between you two. You guys have been in a lot of playoff games, and you've been on both sides of it. And James, I love that story you shared about 1989 going into Game 4. You just wanted one game. You also said, I don't know what these guys are thinking in this locker room. What would be your message if you're one of the players?
My message would be, you know, this is your job. You're at home. Look, you just don't want it to happen on your home court.
Yeah, it's not about the series.
Look,
one game.
Everybody talking about, I don't want to go back to Oklahoma. I get that, you know, and I mean, I know that's tough. Go back, but look, it's not over till it's over. It's never been done. 152, 162, whatever that stat was, 162 games. And so be the first, and you start with one game. You win this game tonight, then you think about what Rob just said. You know, look, if we don't turn the ball over, if we don't give up offensive rebounds, and if we make the defense work, hey, just think about it. Just think if we could get it back to L.A. Just think if we could get Oklahoma back to L.A. That's the way you got to think, man. And everybody's got to buy in. You know, that's all.
Yeah,
be the spoiler.
You got to come out and be aggressive, and you got to punch them in the mouth. And I don't mean that literally. You just got to come out and try to, be physical with them. You have to be physical with them, because how you start the game. Sometimes the ref might call that first one, the second one. After that, it's so. They're in desperate mode, so they're gonna play tight. They're gonna play physical. They're gonna play, when I say tight on the offensive player, they're gonna play physical. So sometimes if we let it ride, and we know how it is. Sometimes a home court advantage is the reason that guys can play defense like that, can get up and body. Because you look at the last series with Minnesota and the Spurs, how they were beating up the Spurs. So you just got to come out with an attitude like, we're going to punch first.
All right, for more, let's check in with Mike Trudell. He is joining us from Crypto.com Arena. Hi, Mike.
What's happening, guys? Welcome downtown. Some wise words there from a couple of experienced playoff performers there. Look, guys, we all know this Oklahoma City team is terrific. We know they won last year. They're certainly the favorites to do so again.